Hi everyone, I am going to react to Jujutsu Kaisen Zero. This movie came out a long time ago. I'm just now getting to react to it. I had just finished watching Spy Family. I saw the last episode last week, right? And Doctor Stone is dropping this week, so there's like gonna be like a 1 week in between before Doctor Stone starts. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just take the opportunity to watch the movie this week, and then I will start watching Doctor Stone next week to replace Spy Family. So it's like I'm so super excited to get back into this world. Ever since I finished Jujutsu Kaisen, I haven't gone back and seen anything Jujutsu. So before I started this reaction, before I was getting ready to watch it, I just looked up a few recap, you know, for season one, just so I can, remember a little bit of what happened before. So yeah, I'm super excited. So before we get into this movie, if you guys have my reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please consider supporting my Patreon at patreon.com/filmini. And now let's start this movie. I was about to say episode. And now let's start this movie, and here we go. What the heck was that? What is he eating with, what's his name, Miguel? You know what, let me bring this chair back up. Yeah, what is he eating with Miguel? You know what, let me go back and look at whoever that was a descendant of or whatever. And they said that they were him and Gojo were related or something. After I finished this movie, I just been here sort of like combing through the movie again because I was really interested in the relationship between Geto and Gojo, because at the end there, when Gojo gave his Yuta his badge back, and then Yuta asked him like if he found it or something or other like that, and he's like, no, it's his best friend that found it. So he considered Geto his best friend, right? But Geto's thing is that he wants a world filled with only Jujutsu sorcerers. Now, I read, I see everything that he's doing to accomplish that and everything, but at some point in the movie, there was this sort of like this conversation voiceover between Geto and Gojo, where it seemed like Geto was on the other side of things. Like he didn't used to think that way, because I wanted to make sure that I understood exactly what I heard, so I went back to look at that scene, which happened somewhere in the 57, 56 mark or whatever. And there was this conversation between Geto and Gojo where Geto was telling Gojo that sorcerers should protect non-sorcerers, and basically that the strong should protect the weak, which is now his stance right now, So I'm like, did something happen in between that speech? What he was telling Geto, what he was telling Gojo, how the strong should help the weak, how sorcerers should help non-sorcerers and everything. Something must have happened between that time and now, where he's like against non-sorcerers, and he's at one point as well in the episode, he said something about how weak people, like a whole lot of many weak people or whatever, a whole lot of weak people gang up on the strong to I guess defeat the strong, kill the strong or whatever, and he's against that as well, which I'm assuming the weak people he's thinking about are like the non-sorcerers, like they gather all together and then they destroy the sorcerer. I don't know, I feel like there's something that happened that made him change his mind about how the world is or whatever. And now he's like so against um anyone that's not a sorcerer. And then there was this these flashback scenes, I guess, where you see Ghetto and Gojo like sort of like, I think it was after Ghetto was defeated by Utah, and he was on the floor, and Gojo came, right, and Gojo told him that he trusted him to, I guess, not kill the students that he sent in there. I don't know, but and then Gojo is like, no, Gojo Ghetto is like, trust, huh? That it's been a long time that if anybody's ever thought of him, that I don't know. He said something along those lines, and then they showed these scenes of Ghetto and Gojo, and then they showed at one point. It feels like it was two different women. And then the second picture, you see Gojo like pouring what's it called, pepper into the girls' food, and they were smiling, and everything. So I'm like, okay, did something happen to? At first, I thought it was the same woman, but it didn't look like it. But if it was the same woman, did something happen to that woman, and that's what changed Ghetto's point of view about things? I don't know. And then that scene right there, I'm like, we all know that Ghetto is still alive, okay? He's working with Mahito and all of that. He's the one that's came up with this plan about basically trapping Gojo so that they can do whatever they wanted to do. Clearly the guy is still alive. And then while he was on the ground over there, and then Gojo's like, any last words, and and you didn't actually see Gojo kill him, but you hear the sound sort of like someone slashing something, so you will think that Gojo killed him in that moment, but we know he's not dead. So clearly, so what did he do? I'm like, he clearly did not kill him. And then there was that scene that I was talking about where there was the voiceover and those two were talking and everything, and then you see Gojo and Ghetto sort of like in a crowd, and then Ghetto was leaving, and then you see someone's hand doing something like this or whatever. So I'm thinking, I think that was Gojo. He's watching Ghetto leave, and by that moment that Ghetto already has this idea, this new view of things. So as he's walking away, and then you see this friend with his hand, I feel like that was Gojo, and I feel like at that moment he was debating whether to stop Ghetto, and then he decided not to. I mean, he considered the guy his best friend, so it would be hard on him to kill his friend. So if at that particular moment he was debating killing him and he didn't, so who's to say that after the fight with Yuta, he also did do the same thing? Like, he was debating kill him, and then he didn't. Because there has to be a way, like, something has to have happened for Geto to still be alive, He's not dead. I don't know. Oh, Yuta. Yuta still is that. Oh yeah, they said at the end there, Gojo said that they were both descendants of this person, Sugawara, Michi, Kane, that they were distant relatives or something rather like that. Then you see Gojo in the background being like, yeah, you too, Yuta or something or other like that. So Yuta and they started the movie with these bullies that were about to attack Utah. And then Utah is like, please stop, stop, stop. And then you're like, oh, okay, what's happening? And then he said, stop the Rikachan or something or that like that. And then the curse came out. And then he attacked those students, those people. And they said that, these students were gravely injured. And I'm like, huh? Because you see them being stuck in a locker, you see all the blood pooling like out of the locker onto the ground, and then I'm like, okay, they said they were gravely injured, but that was like way too much blood for me to believe that they were just injured. But yeah, they were injured. And then they went into the backstory of about how Rika Chan, like that cursed spirit, came about, and they met at a hospital, right? They were both in the hospital, and that's where Yuta and Rika met each other for the first time. They became friends. Rika proposed. Oh, yeah. I want to see scenes like that. I'm like, you guys, how old are you guys? And you're already proposing to each other. But okay, he proposed to Yuta, and Yuta accepted. Like when they grew up, they were gonna marry each other and everything. And then just as that scene was playing out, I'm like, she's about to get into an accident, right? And yeah, that's exactly what happened. She got into an accident. She was dying, and then she turned into this curse, special great curse spirit. And it turns out that Yuta is the one that basically cursed her, because as she was dying on the floor, he kept saying, "Don't die, don't die, don't die." And he's a jujutsu sorcerer, so he basically cursed her, and that's how this special grade Rikachan got born. And now he was attached to Yuta, and everyone that tries to hurt him gets badly hurt or killed. And because of all those things, and he didn't know how to control it, he felt like he I think he said that he tried to kill himself. But Rika didn't let that happen, because Gojo was they had basically put Yuta sort of like basically where in solitary confinement. Like how Yuji was also, at the beginning of the series, he was also there by himself, and he was telling Gojo how he wanted to die. He didn't want to hurt anybody, and he wanted to be alone by himself. And then Gojo's like, being alone is, lonely. You don't want to make connections and everything. And then that's when he proposed taking him to Jujutsu Tech. And then he joined Jujutsu Tech, and then he met Toge, he met Panda, and then he met Maki. Oh, my girl, Maki. I love her so much. The first time that he walked into the classroom, they all felt attacked, and they were about to attack Yuta. But then Gojo came in. Well, I think Gojo was already there. Of course, he was already there. And then he introduced them to everybody, and introduced them to Rika and everything. And then they put them into two groups. You had Toge and Panda together, and then you had Maki and Yuta together. And then they were sent on this mission to this elementary school where these students were disappeared or kidnapped by curses or something or other like that, and they were supposed to save those kids or bring their dead bodies back or something or other like that. And then Gojo left. He put a veil around the school, and then it was just Maki and Yuta there. Maki being you saw all these little curses that came out, and that were banding up together. And that's when Maki told Yuta that weak curses band together and everything. So that's where he learned that. And Maki dispatched of them, but then this bigger one came out. And that scene was so quick that I missed exactly what happened. But basically, Maki was gonna try to attack this curse, but then she got swallowed. Both her and Yuta got swallowed, and then they found those two keys inside the stomach of this curse, right? And they were being affected. by the curse, and if they didn't get out fast enough, they were gonna die. Maki was on the ground, and Yuta didn't know how to deal with what was happening. So Maki just straight out asked him, what does he want to get out of being in Jujutsu Tech? And that's when he like took control, I guess. He put the ring on his finger, and then he brought Rika out, and Rika was just destroying the curse. And Ritu, not Ritu. Where did Ritu come from? That's Mob Psycho. So, oh yeah, I wanted to check on this. Let me do this before I forget. So, Yuta took Maki and those two kids out, and then the veil got lifted and everything, and Gojo congratulated Yuta for work well done. Okay, let me do this because I've been saying that I feel like Geto's voice actor sounded familiar to me. Suguru voice actor. I think I said that he. What the heck? I just tapped in Geto Suguru voice actor, and then the first thing that pops out. Let me switch to what's on the screen. Unfortunately, this has also led to renewed interest in Suguru's Geto's voice actor, and more specifically, a renewed interest in his extramarital affairs. I'm like, really? This isn't what I came to see, but that's the first thing that showed up. Apparently, he has extramarital affairs. Okay, whatever. Okay, so his name is Takahiro Sakurai. Let me search that. Voice actor. Who has Takahiro Sakurai voice? Oh, he also voiced Cloud? Oh, okay. Sasori in Naruto? Instead of going by this like this, let me just Google Reagan's voice actor. That is his. Yeah, it's the same person. So I was right. Takahiro Sakurai. The same person. Okay. Because I'm listening to this guy's voice. I'm like, he sounds like Reagan to me. And then, same person. Okay. So, yeah, what was I? I forgot where I was. Oh, yeah, they defeated that curse spirit. And then the next mission that they sent him on was with Toge. And Toge and Yuta went together. Yuta was supposed to be support. They felt like this curse spirits that they were gonna go face, and Wana should be Toge should be enough to deal with it. And then Gojo told them that he was not gonna be around for that, and I'm like, the way they were talking, I knew this was not gonna be like a simple thing for them to do. So before they went in there, Toge went inside a shopping center and bought some throat medicine, and I'm like, oh, I knew why he needed it. Yuta didn't know at that moment. He didn't really know how Toge's powers worked. So they went in there, and then this weak spirits banded together, and then he's like explode or something or other like that. So he saw how his thing worked. Those cursed spirits exploded, but then his throat started hurting, and then that's when that one special one. It's not really. Can we call it a special cursed? It was definitely stronger than those weak ones. So he came out, and then he was about to attack Yuta, and then Toge pushed him out of the way, and then his fingers got hurt, and then the medicine also dropped, and then Yuta took Toge out, and then they went into hiding a little bit, and Yuta was apologizing to Toge because he felt like it was his um he's doing. That's why Toge got hurt. But Toge's like, no, don't worry about it. And then he was about to go back there and face this cursed spirit. And Yuta was about to accompany him. But then he's like, you stay behind, trying to protect him. But then Yuta's like, no, thank you, but I'm going with you. And we're going to do this together. Because he's been practicing how to channel Rika's cursed energy into this sword. And he's been practicing with, oh my gosh, that fighting training montage that they had with Maki and Toge, and where Maki was like up in the air, and then not Toge, Yuta felt like, okay, she's off balance, I can do whatever, and then she just dropped it like split, and I'm like, God, that was so cool. But yeah, so he's been practicing with the sword and everything. So him and Toge, they joined forces, and Yuta was taking care of the cursed spirit by himself until he got hold of the medicine. Then he threw it at Toge, and then Toge did his thing, and then they defeated that cursed spirit. And then you see Geto up there, because he's been wanting to see Rika in action. He wants Rika on his side. So these people went home, and Gojo came to the scene of the crime. Yeah. And then he felt Geto's not spiritual energy, that's something else. His cursed energy, he felt it over there, and he's like, this dude was here. And then he told the principal, and they were at the school, and the Yuta felt like something was wrong. The others were like, nah, you can't really detect spiritual energy, especially with Rika around you and whatnot. But the dude was right, because Geto showed up with his cohorts, and then he was talking to Yuta, just basically telling him how he wanted to kill all non-sorcerers and all of that. But then he called Maki a monkey, and that set Yuta off. And he's like, don't talk about my friends that way. And Gojo was there with the principal and everybody, and then they're like, so what are you doing here? And things like, I came to declare war. Told them about the December 24th, he was gonna release basically 2,000 cursed spirits, 1,000 in Kyoto and 1,000 in Tokyo, I think. And yeah, that's why the 1,000-year, how what they called it, because they mentioned it in the first season, how that happened, and that not Gojo, Todo, how Todo destroyed, I think, 100 demons that night. I think that's what they said, if I remember correctly. Although I don't quite remember. So that was that night, and but that was a diversion from Geto. He just wanted, his thing is that he can absorb cursed spirits and everything. He can take them and make them his own. And then he's like, when it comes to Yuta, that if he kills Yuta, then he can absorb Rika and make it his own. And that with Rika's power on his side, he can make his world a reality or something or other like that. He doesn't need to be consuming all those little demons like the one that he did for that woman that brought her daughter to him and all of that. So that's why he wanted Rika. And that's why he's doing this 1,000 demons night thing, to have everybody occupied while he goes and kills Yuta and get Rika, and everything. So everybody, when that night came, everybody went, except for Maki and Yuta, right? And then when they were there, Yuta wanted to ask Maki what Geto was talking about when he called her a failure. Yeah, he called her a failure. And that's when Maki told him how she doesn't have the ability to see curses, but she comes from this big family of Jujutsu sorcerers, this clan of Jujutsu sorcerers, and they've been basically diminishing her ever since she was born because of her inability to see curses and everything, and the fact that she wanted to become a grade one or a special grade Jujutsu sorcerer. I don't know, and then go back to her clan and make them pay or something or other like that, and then just seeing her, it made Yuta, it made him tell her that he wanted to be like her and everything. And then she got, oh, she was blushing. And then she went outside. And yeah, and so that was it. And then those people, not those people, um, while everybody was dealing with all those curses over there, then Ghetto shows up at the school, posts up a veil around the school, and Maki went to try to stop him, but then she got hurt. And while everybody was over there, Gojo was just like, something felt off to him because he was like, the way Geto is, he will want to be on the front line of things, but he's not there, you know. So I'm like, oh no, Geto's like, Gojo, is that something's wrong? And then that's where EG, what's his name again? The guy that brings them to whenever they're about to do some kind of job. EG something. He gives Gojo his report. This report that didn't actually say out loud. He just told Gojo, and then Gojo just like took Panda and Toge, and then just did something on the ground and then sent them to the school, and basically told them that to try to keep Maki and what Yuta, try to keep both of them alive until he gets there. But then there was this Miguel guy that was supposed to be delaying Gojo, you know, and he did his part. He did delay Gojo, you know, because by the time he got there, the fight between Geto and Yuta was done, was over. So the guy did his job. So he sent Panda and Toge over there. They got there, they saw Maki on the ground, and then they were, oh my gosh, Panda was so cool. He was facing Geto by himself until he got hurt. Geto used Maki's weapon and then threw it at Panda, and then he struck him. And then as he was falling down, that's when you see Toge up, and then he spoke. What did he say? No, he didn't say die. It was something else, somewhere else that he said die. Maybe he was during the mission with him and Yuta. I don't know, but he said something to, or this a crush? I don't know, but he said something to Geto, and Geto was like subarashi, like amazing and everything. But then he also took both of them out. Meanwhile, Yuta is just like there, hearing these tremors, and I'm like, boy, can't you see that something's wrong? And then he got on the scene, he saw everybody hurt, then he got upset, brought Rika out, and then they started fighting, which was super cool. And he was holding his own, you know, against Geto, and with Geto being this amazing Jujutsu sorcerer, this special Jujutsu sorcerer, and then Yuta is able to keep up with him. It's like amazing. And then there came a point where Geto was like, okay, I need to end this. And then he brought out this a special grade cursed spirit. He brought him out, and then he created this amalgamation of 4,000 or something cursed spirits or whatever. And then he was about to launch both of them. Rika and Yuta. And then Yuta just turned around and faced Rika, and he's like, basically sacrifice himself. It's like, help me with all your power. I would really want to defeat this dude, so please help me. And then after this is done, I'm gonna be all yours and whatever. And he told Rika that he loves her and all of that. And then Rika was like, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And then just like, psh, they unleashed this amazing superpower. And then they basically sort of like destroyed, but not completely, Ghetto. You know, before that even happened, there was that scene with when Rika and Yuta got on the scene, then they saw everybody hurt, and then they took them away, and then he was administering basically first aid to Maki, Toge, and Panda, and then the way he was talking to Maki, and I'm like, isn't Rika gonna feel jealous? And that's exactly what happened. She got upset and brought Maki to the side and was you saw your fault, something or other like that. And then Yuta was like admonishing her that she's the one that saved my life and all of that. And then, please don't be mad at me. Please don't be mad at me. Like Rika is so like under um Yuta's spell that he doesn't like everything that he says is like gospel to her. So when he came to that moment, and then he's like, "I'm gonna be all yours." That just like, psh. I love when Ghetto called him a womanizer. Yeah, and then Yuta's like, that's the power of pure love or something or other like that. I don't know. So yeah, they defeated Ghetto, but he's still alive because yeah, I don't think Gojo killed him. Or maybe he thinks he killed him, but I don't know. But Ghetto's alive, and Yuta's alive too. And then after the aftermath of the battle, and he passed out, right? And then Maki and the others showed up and they were waking him up, and then you hear Rika in the background calling out to him, and then he's like, I have to go because I made a deal with, that I will go with her and whatnot. And then he's like, what would you do that means you're gonna die and everything. And then that's when the curse broke on Rika, and she became herself. And it was revealed, even though Yuta also thought that he was the one that cursed her. But then when Gojo showed up and he's like, yeah, we really did curse her. And then you remember when he said, don't die, don't die, don't die, and everything. And then he started crying. And then Rika's like, don't cry. I'm glad I got to spend this, I think it was 6 years with him and everything. And then she got turned into, stars and Moana and disappeared. So yeah, that was it. And I believe that's when the episode ended. But then the after credit they showed Miguel, who was the dude that was delaying Gojo. They showed him and Yuta eating at this restaurant, and then Gojo showed up. So I'm like, what's up with that situation? I don't get it. What are they trying to accomplish? Did Miguel, I don't know. I'm confused about that scene. At first I thought that maybe Yuta sort of like infiltrated Ghetto's circle, like it's making them believe that he is now in agreement with what Ghetto is saying. That's why he's out there with Miguel eating and everything. But then when Gojo showed up, I'm like, okay, there's Gojo. We didn't see how the fight between Gojo and Miguel ended. We didn't see what happened there. So I don't know. Maybe Gojo was able to convince Miguel to join his side. But then, I don't know, I'm confused. I love seeing all those different people that showed up during the battle between, the cursed spirits Lumana and the sorcerers. You got to see Nanami do his thing. I was hoping to see E.G., whatever his name is, man. I'm sure I have his name written down somewhere over here. Ijichi. Yeah, Ijichi. there was that moment where Ichichi was about to was talking to those two girls, Mimik and something or other like that, and then they basically were telling Ichichi. Ichichi was trying to give them like some kind of life lessons, and they didn't want to hear it. And they were like, "You don't know how sorcerers are being treated in on the sort of like on the outskirts of like of town, like people like places where that doesn't register on maps or something or other like that." And that Gojo was basically their savior. So it's like, you don't know what you're talking about, and then you see Gojo fighting, sort of like interrupt what was happening with those two, and Ichichi. So I was hoping we could see Ichichi fight, because ever since this anime has started, he's just been basically bringing people to places and whatnot. He hasn't actually done any kind of fighting. So when those two were there and then he was talking to them, I thought they were gonna show him fighting maybe, but that didn't happen. I love seeing that woman also fight, the one with the long hair, blue hair or whatever. That's also all about money. You give her money before she does something. She was amazing. Nanami was amazing. You see those students from the Kyoto school also there doing their thing. Like each one of them, Mikamaru, that girl that also likes Gojo, the one that is also from Megumi's. I think he's also from Megumi's clan or something or other like that. He's also one of those special clans of Jujutsu sorcerers. He was also there. You see them doing the thing, and then the girl that flies on the broom, they were there, and then Gojo also showed up. No, Gojo. Todo also showed up and did his thing, and then he's like, I have to go because there's this show where the girl that he likes is gonna be a special guest or whatnot. So he's gonna be wasting time. You see him do his thing as well. It was nice to see. Um, there was this one dude that had this something in his mouth. They I feel like it's gonna be someone important. Although we haven't seen him in the main storyline, like in the main season, the first season, we haven't seen him. This is the first time I saw him. But the fact that they gave him a line when that dude that has the hat on or whatever, they were fighting, and then they showed me, he spoke to him like in just a few lines, and then he went back to doing whatever. I feel like that guy's gonna be someone important as well. Yeah. Who else was in the fight? I don't know, but it was so amazing to see Gojo do his thing. I was about to say Gojo should not be having such a hard time with this Miguel person, but then he said that whatever cursed powers that this Miguel person has is messing with his power or something or other like that. So I guess that's the reason why he's not able to dispatch of him quickly enough to get to Utah. I love this movie. You know what? Let me see when Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 is gonna be dropping. Release date July 6, 2023. Okay, we're still some ways away. Maybe by the time, excuse me, Dr. Stone drops, it won't be. I don't know how many episodes Dr. Stone is gonna have. And we're in April, May, June, July. It might be close to being done by the time Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 drops. So I'll probably be reacting to that after I'm done with Dr. Stone. I'm so excited. I love this show. I love Gojo. Like, he's my boo. He's my favorite. I love everything about him. He's so cool. And Maki as well. Like, she's my favorite, like, the female character in this show. Like, she's super awesome. I love her. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. And if you want to see my reaction to the first episode of Dr. Stone, you can do so by checking out my Patreon at patreon.com/Philomene. And you can also see the full length of this reaction there as well. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. We gon' kill her. Nobody can come over here. Bermuda.